Welcome back, viewers. We are on ice. I hope you joined us 10 or 15 minutes ago. We had the Zurich Caledonian Pipe Band welcoming all the teams onto the ice. Not for me, I'm up here in commentary box, up above all the sheets. But I hope you enjoyed the stirring sound of the pipes and drums. The traditional Scottish sound for the traditional Scottish game. We are at the final point of the 16th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament here in Curling Club Etsicon. It is now the ranking games. We have a 1-2 playoff on our featured game here on sheet 3. And both of these teams have been floating around the top of the table all weekend. It is Korea wearing the white uniforms, and they will be playing against last year's champions, Team Slovakia in red. It is Team Korea. They will be throwing blue stones. They will start with last stone advantage in the first end. And that is by way of being first in the table. Just see the teams just egging each other on, giving each other encouragement. Now you will see that it's really been a hard journey for our defending champions, Slovakia, and they are only 3 on the ice today, unfortunately. Their regular second thrower, Dujan Pitonak, coming all this way, but then not feeling so good. So he's resting up, and we wish him very well. Already a credit to the Slovakian team then, that they have battled all the way back to the final again. This is a closed final, the 1 versus 2, and that means we will play to a conclusion. We will play until we have a winner. If an extra end is then needed, then we will do this. The 3-4 playoff, that is also a closed game. That will decide 3rd and 4th place for rank 5 through 12. They will still have a cumulative score. But ready to throw is the familiar figure of Monika Kunkelova. You can see the club nice and busy in the background. We've all just had a nice brunch up here in the restaurant. Food always attracts a good crowd. So we have a nice crowd here to watch the final. And Monika Kunkelova just been caught out a little bit with the ice conditions. We've had a lot of movement there in the past hour or so. The pipe band coming in and out. And then Danny Schreif, the ice manager, the ice master. He has been making beautiful ice for us, well, here for years, and for our competition this weekend. It's been lovely and fast and swingy. But Monika just getting caught out there. And that's more like it from Korea. We've seen a few conservative starts in the first end over the weekend. Sometimes the teams just wanting to get the ice, had the feeling for the ice, how fast the ice is running, that sort of thing. I wonder what we'll see here though. Korea, they put up that guard indicating they're quite happy having stones in play right from the beginning. And the Korean lead thrower just being asked to draw in behind her own very nicely placed corner guard, and she does. This is a perfect start for Korea. Looks like they are happy to play the aggressive stuff from the beginning. And let's, for one last time this weekend, say thank you to all of our yellow volunteers. You will see them again sprinkled all over the ice rink, working their magic. This tournament always very well supported from the club members here in Vetsikon. It's always a really nice weekend, and we always have plenty of kind volunteers ready to help all of our guests. And as you can see, the yellow volunteers, they just keep things moving along. They put up the score. They make sure stones that are out of play are safely behind the back line. They make sure the stones at the throwing end are in the right order, and they clean the bottom of the stone and place it in front of the player. There you are. You can see volunteer Stephanie there, just cleaning the bottom of the stone and giving it to the player. And that just keeps the game moving along. Of course, it takes just a bit of extra time to move around on the ice if you're a wheelchair user rather than by foot. So our volunteers just keep things easy for the players. They do all the boring bits and the players can get on with the game. And that was an early miss though for Korea. And will Slovakia be able to recover from that? We have had 3 continents worth of teams here this weekend. From Asia Pac, we are delighted that our friends from Korea have travelled again. They will be going on to Scotland next weekend. There is another international wheelchair event in Scotland, our sister event. And a lot of the teams, it's very convenient to play first this weekend and then travel to Scotland, and you have a second high quality competition there. So Korea all the way over from Asia Pacific region. We're delighted to welcome them. And from the other side of the world, we welcome, for the first time in a while, we have a team from the US, Team Wagami. And no, that isn't a Japanese name. That is a combination of the different clubs that Team Wagami come from. So let's say hello then to Team Korea. Throwing lead for Team Korea, it is Yeon Hee-kyung. And I think their alternate, it looks like they are throwing second in this game, and that is Cha Jing-ho. Third thrower is Nam Bong-kwang. Fourth and skip is Lee Hyang-chul. I'm not sure my Korean pronunciation has got much better over the weekend. But thank you for your patience, Korean viewers. first throw of the game for Nam Bongkwang. No trouble there. All the teams will be fairly used to the ice conditions now. Our ice master typically providing nice, fast, swingy ice for international standard. Lovely throw from the Korean. You can see those two blues far away from each other. And this is looking nice for Korea, but they are up against Team Slovakia. Last year's champions at lead, the familiar figure of Monika Kunkelova. Second thrower is usually Dusan Pitonak, but as mentioned, Slovakia just playing with 3, and we wish Dusan very well. We hope he feels better very soon. So third thrower is today Peter Žatko, and fourth and skip is Radoslav Duriš. So when you play with 3 players, the first 2 throwers, they throw 3 stones each. And your final player, they throw 2 stones as normal. That's how that works. So both Monika and Peter will throw 3 stones each. The 2 of them in your picture now. And Duriš, he will continue to throw 2. And you can imagine throwing 50% more stones over a whole weekend. It does take its toll. It is very tiring. Now, I'm sure, viewer, you will be ahead of me with this one when we think about our objectives for this first end. Scores are 0. First end only. Neither team needing to do anything particularly fancy, but Slovakia without last stone, they want to limit Korea. Slovakia don't need to score any points here, but they want to make sure Korea does not have a chance to score big points. And what do we mean by big? We mean 2 or more points with the last stone. Therefore, what is Korea's objective for this first end? It's exactly the reverse. They would love to score 2 points, but with some tidy play from Slovakia, they are meeting objectives better at the moment in this first end. It is now 2 yellow stones that have a good distance between them. First throw of this final for Lee Hyung-chul. Really powerful thrower. And a really nice throw there from the Korean skip. It's always nice to make 2 tidy shots in the first end, just to settle the nerves, keep your confidence good. But no need to even discuss for the Slovakian team. Very obvious what the shot should be here. If we can just remove that blue from play, then there is only 1 more blue at volunteer Steffi's feet. There will be no chance for Korea to score 2, and that will be job done for Slovakia. Radoslav Juric. He's a cool customer as well. And Korea already realising that he is accurate with his final throw in this first end. And that is a bright start from our battling threesome from from Slovakia. There we are, nice solid hit from Radoslav Juric. And Slovakia, they will be very happy with that start. No chance for Korea to score 2 points. And not really a chance for Korea to blank this end. That's probably what they would like to do, but a little bit difficult. Korea then not going for the double takeout. A little bit difficult to blank this end. Just going to remove one. Ooh, but... Oh, he got a happy little redirection there. But interesting. Oh, there's the result, viewer. Lee Hyung-chul a little bit off target. Unusually with his final throw, and that ends up being a steal of 1 point to Slovakia. They would not have expected that, and that's a little gift for them in the first end. So that means in our final, the 1-2 playoff here at the 16th edition of our international wheelchair curling tournament at Curling Club Vetsikon, it is Team Korea 0, the defending champions Team Slovakia 1. It is Slovakia starting us off in the second end. Lee Hyung-chul not quite hitting his target with his final throw. So it is Monika Kunkelova who will start us off again. There must be some tired arms out there with all the teams, but particularly with Slovakia playing with 3. Dusan Pichonak, unfortunately, not feeling so good, so resting up. Now, viewer, one potential drawback or potential negative with a closed final is that it can lead to some awfully conservative play. If you're playing in the Schenko system, as we have been doing for the rounds this weekend, it does encourage aggressive play because it is your cumulative score, not only about winning a game or losing. You get points for games won, ends won and shots won. Whereas if it's simply you either win the game or you don't, this can lead to some conservative play. And that's what we're seeing from Korea, but still very early doors. No need for Korea to go flat out aggressive at the moment. And on the sheet next door, on the right of your screen there, that's Team Albatros Trentino. That's a team from the club in Italy. They are playing the team from Club St. Gallen here in Switzerland. Fantastic weekend both of those teams have had, beating several international teams on their way to the 3rd, 4th playoff. And the two teams in front of us, they really could not be better matched. Both of them have played at Paralympic. Slovakia making the semi-finals at Paralympic. That's easily the best finish for curling in Slovakia. They really embraced wheelchair curling from the beginning, Slovakia. They've always been a big name in wheelchair curling. Their men's and ladies teams a bit newer on the scene in the men's and ladies competitions, but the wheelchair team has really been at the top of this game really since the beginning. Overcoming Canada last year to be the champions here, and they would love to repeat that again this year. And the Koreans, they finished 6th at Paralympic last time out in 2022. And they finished back-to-back at the most recent World Wheelchair Curling Championship as well. I expect then we will have an excellent game between these two teams. They will know each other fairly well. As we said, very closely ranked together in the world rankings and at recent World Championships and Paralympic and so on. But of course, Korea quite some way from Slovakia. So they don't get to play each other so often as the European teams. Second thrower then, Cha Jing-ho, trying to come around the back of those Slovakian guards. Still in play the blue, but it is behind T-line, and that means there is enough space for Peter Jatko to follow that stone round. Korea with last stone. They're just 1 point behind, but it is up to them to take this game to Slovakia to try to start building points. Slovakia not needing to take risks at the moment, and that's a lovely throw from Peter Jatko. That is really nice. It's right in front of that blue. That creates danger for Korea. If they get the angle wrong, they will simply punch that yellow straight back onto the blue. So Cha Jing-ho need to be careful here. Oh, and that is exactly why that was a good stone from Peter Zatko. Really nice stone placement there. It created the danger for Korea, and Korea have fallen into the trap. So that yellow still in play. Several of the teams this weekend, they will already be thinking about Paralympic in 2026. That will be in Italy. Team Italy then qualifying as hosts. But Italy also very much in the mix in the world rankings anyway. They finished just one place behind Slovakia in the most recent World Championship. But Team Italy qualifying automatically for Paralympic already, and there will be 9 more countries represented. Both of the teams in our final here, both of them will be very keen to make sure of their place. And that coming up a little bit shorter for Slovakia than they wanted, but an extra guard in the centre, yeah, that's just frustrating Korea, so that's an excellent plan B. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's what you see from the throwing end. Just a big cluster of yellow. And if Korea want to score anything in this end, they feel like time to make a gap. I'm not sure I particularly favour this call. The yellow stone of Slovakia is in the back 8-foot circle. There is space for Korea to put a stone in ahead of that, behind those guards, but Korea feeling like, let's play it safe, let's just move some stones around. So getting rid of one, but I'm not sure how much that helps them. And now Slovakia have a similar decision to Korea. They can move that blue that's in the front rings. There, that shot from Korea not helping too much for me. I think they might have been wiser to try to get a stone round on the anti-clockwise handle. But now it will be Slovakia who will try the anti-clockwise handle instead. Choosing to leave that blue alone. It is a Slovakian stone that's lying short. And as we saw, the danger with hitting a stone in that front ring is that if you're not careful, it can squirt straight back onto the stone behind it. And this is really finding a lovely spot. Look at this one. Just putting its brakes on, curling in. That is a grand shot from Peter Zatko. It is Slovakia lying 1 and 2. Korea, they have been glued to the top of the ranking table all weekend. And they will need their best shots. They are looking at a whole lot of yellow stones at the moment. They need to weather this storm a bit from Slovakia. And just play nice, tidy shots. But definitely Slovakia with a brighter start out here. That, though, is a lovely throw from Nam Bongkwang. Now you have 2 dangerous blues. That's the view from the throwing end. Either of those blues, if you just push them forward a metre or so, suddenly you have a very nice situation. A blue towards the centre, with a whole bunch of guards out front. So I imagine the Slovakians will indeed be wanting to remove some of that danger. It's either just wondering, does it make more sense to put another yellow into play, actually? And, well, this is a brave call. They maybe were just a bit nervous about popping either of those blues just back onto their own yellow, and this is a very brave call. And, oh boy, that stone needs to put its brakes on. Wow, that was a very brave call. If that had been too long, that stone, if that had been coming in a bit faster, it would have done exactly what we said Korea would like to do, just punch that blue further into the rings. So that a gutsy call from the Slovakian skip, but super shot from him, very well made. They couldn't guard everything, Slovakia, so there is one blue stone still available. But let's think about Slovakia objectives in the second end. Really the same as the first. They want to prevent Korea from scoring big with last stone advantage. And at the moment, they've set themselves up very nicely to meet objectives again. 1 point to Korea. That's fine for Slovakia. That would simply level the score, and it would be Slovakia with last stone in the third end. But this is not going to curl in time, I don't think. No. And unfortunately, Lee Hyung-chul, he has blocked his own path in now to that blue stone. Final throw then in the second end for Slovakian skip, Radoslav Duriš. Slovakia just wanting to get another yellow in the rings, I think, just in case there's some path that can remove their current yellow. That would leave blue line 2. Doesn't quite find the curl with that stone, but it's a pretty nice weight. I think Korea are simply going to have to follow that throw from Slovakia. And it will be Slovakia, I think, who have had the brighter start. They will be more settled into this game. Their objective so far has been to prevent Korea scoring big. And they have done a great job of that for the first two ends. Oh, Monica on her own at the throwing end without her teammate Dusan Pichunak. But always professional. I'm sure she will be timing the Korean stone. You'll see most of the players out there with stopwatch. And they will time most stones. So how how many seconds does it take for a stone to land on tee line, for a stone to land as a guard, for a takeout, etc. And that just gives them an overview of how fast the ice is running. And this has found a perfect line from Korea, but has it got the legs? Is it going to get there? That's a superb effort from the Korean skip. But looks like it's, what do you think, viewer? It's definitely one yellow. And we are right above, I think it might be two. It's certainly another score, another steal for Slovakia. And was it a steal of 2 points even? Ooh, we're having a measure. We haven't seen a measure in the live stream this weekend. All of the yellow volunteers, typically players at the club, so they will know how to do a measure. There you can see in the middle of all the players there. It's a... Oh, glasses out. Yes, let's be professional. So yeah, it's a big metal arm with a pin dropping down. And it doesn't really matter which stone you measure first, but you line up the pin dropping down from the metal arm with the first stone. And there's a little gauge on the pin as well, so it moves the needle round a little bit. And then he wanders round the circle. So there's a pin in the middle, you can see right in the middle of the rings there, keeping it steady. Oh, I didn't see what the final result was. We will find out shortly, but it will be Slovakia starting us off in the third end either way. They definitely had 1 point. That was a measure to see if they had 2 points. And Korea will be a bit disappointed with this. They've really been pretty dominant this weekend. And for the sake of good curling, let's hope that our Korean friends haven't used up all of their good stones already this weekend. But they're not quite finding the right line and the right weight at the moment. It's really Slovakia who are putting the pressure on. For the third time then, Monika Kunkelova starting us off. Objective for Slovakia exactly the same as it was for the first two ends. They just don't want to give Korea a chance to build points, and that's fine. A guard for Slovakia wouldn't really be necessary at this point. Slovakia, they don't need to score more points at this stage. They're already +2, if not +3. I need a yellow volunteer to put the score up. Hoi! Volunteer. Score, please. Thank you, Radoslav. It was one yellow finally. So Slovakia then 2 ahead, so they don't need to put guards into play. It's Korea who have to do the work at the moment. They are not really managing to set up, well, they're setting up quite nicely. That's another nice set-up stone, but they're not quite managing to finish off chances at the moment, and they will need to tighten up this play. Slovakia have been really nice and consistent so far. And that's why we saw Monika Kunkelova throwing a stone into the rings. A guard, not necessary for Slovakia. If they just put a couple stones in the rings, that gives Korea the problem. If Korea want to score anything, they will have to do something about the now 2 lovely draws from Monika Kunkelova. They are really looking to Yoon Hee-kyung, ready to throw there. They are looking to her to set up a nice end here for Korea. They need to start scoring. Yoon Hee-kyung then looking to use that yellow stone thrown by Slovakia and roll across. And she's done that nicely. Acknowledgement from the Korean skip there. Just working their way over towards that corner guard, Korea. Pretty difficult to get a roll from one side of the house to the other accurately. So just working step by step. Trying to bring that corner guard into play, trying to get a stone hidden behind that corner guard. Try to make it too difficult for Slovakia to remove. And then, ta-da! Hopefully, a chance to score a second point right in the middle. So both Monika Kunkelova and Peter Jatko playing 3 stones in this game, and not finding the right line there, though, Monika. And is that the chance that Korea have been waiting for? Now they can bring that corner guard into play. Second thrower today is Cha Jin-ho. And being asked to use that corner guard to put a second blue in behind. His skip likes it already. And rightly so. That is a lovely throw. Really nice stuff from Cha Jin-ho. This is more like it from Korea. Radoslav Duric just indicating where he wants to roll to as well. Not only about removing this blue, but also where he wants his yellow stone to roll to. So a nice strong throw, strong handle on that stone from Peter Jatko. Oh, wasn't he close to chipping his own stone out the back there as well? But that's fine enough for now. Nice throw from him. Let's see how everyone else is getting on. So the first, second playoff on our sheet, that's a closed game. So whoever wins, they are first. And next door on sheet 4, that is another closed game for third and fourth place. That is Team Albatros Trentino from Italy. They are playing Team St. Gallen from here in Switzerland. Yeah, look how close that stone was. And an identical game to ours, in fact. It was a steal of 1 to St. Gallen in the first end and another steal in the second. So it is the club from Switzerland who are currently 2-0 ahead over the Italian club. And all the other games, they will still be a cumulative total, so still worth playing for more ends and more points. On sheet 1, it is Team England with a 3-1 lead over the home club in Vetsikon. On sheet 2, we have our visitors from the US, Team Wagami. They are playing Team Switzerland, the first Swiss team. And that's the only one I can't see, so I shall need to update that later. On sheet 5, it is second Swiss team. They are playing Team Scotland, and it's the Swiss who've had the brighter start. It's 3-0 to them. And on sheet 6, it is Team Italy playing Team Poland, and this is 3-0 to the Italians. Peter Jadko being asked to hoover up another blue. Oh, is he going to connect with it though? Oh, he hasn't though. That just curled a bit too much, that one. And that's a much better situation for Korea now. Those two blues rather close to the edge of the rings, but it is two blues that are lying first and second shot at the moment. They're just going inside of the target there. Big chance for Korea then to jump straight back into this game. They allow first and second shot. And just trying to remove that. Oh my goodness, but that has also missed its target. So big let off there for Slovakia. One mistake then. A mistake straight back. So, as you were, Peter Jatko will have a second chance to remove this blue. And we can see Radoslav Duric. He's just adjusted a little bit the ice. His brush is a little bit further out to give Peter Jatko more space. A little bit correction on the ice, a little bit correction from the thrower. And this looks more on target. That's more like it. Do you think we'll need a measure again, viewers? That yellow just rolling away from the centre. And that yellow and blue fairly close to, equally close rather, to the centre by the look of it. Now it depends a little bit what Korea thinks here. If Korea thinks they are already lying short with that blue, that could influence what they want to play with this stone. And that's interesting, Korea using the other handle to play towards that part of the ice. And now there is no doubt about it. It is definitely two blue shots are lying. Korea needs to just hold their nerve here. Just keep playing these nice hit and sticks. We are at skip stones in the third end of our 1-2 playoff. here at the 16th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament in Curling Club Etsikon. Ooh, Radoslav Duric has got away with that. He was not quite on target, but that yellow stone out front is currently second shot. But I wonder if that blue hanging on at the back, I wonder if that could end up being a problem for them. You can see he needed to curl a little bit more towards that centre line, and that would have popped the blue straight out. But this is much better from Korea. They were making too many mistakes in the first couple of ends, but they really sharpened up their play here in the third. And they have a chance now to put heaps of pressure on Slovakia. Korean skip Lee Hyung-chul. That is a lovely throw from him. Look at that, 1, 2, 3 blues. They could not be further away from each other. And Slovakia in all kinds of trouble now, with only one stone to come for each team. What can Radoslav Duric do about... Oh, goodness. No, I think you have to remove something, Slovakia. I don't think you can risk just trying to outdraw anything here. Otherwise, you are going to get hit for 4. I think we need to move something blue and just say, OK, that was a much better end from Korea. We had a couple of misses. And Korea have managed to work themselves straight back into this game now. But it's still only the third end. Yeah, I think that was the best idea. It is now yellow line shot. And the maximum you are going to lose is 3 points. And at this early stage, that's not the end of the world. Really super end though from Korea. Fantastic stone placement, 3 blue stones, all as far away from each other as possible. Slovakia only able to hit 1 and roll towards centre. And now Lee Hyung-chul has a chance to hit and stick for 3 big points on the board. And this is coming in lovely. That has got its target perfectly. Oh, he's a little bit unlucky to just take that third blue counter out with him. But a much better end from Korea. They will be much happier with that. Really good shots from them. And they have levelled the game in our 1-2 playoff here in Vetsikon. It is Korea 2, Slovakia 2. For the first time then in our 1-2 playoff, it is Korea who will start us off. And let's see what they do. Scores are level. It's 2 each. They played a really super end there, Korea. They really found draw weight, a nice, clean hit and stick. Let's see, do they want to play a guard and try to encourage stones to stay in play? Or are they just going to play the game immediately in the house and leave it up to Slovakia to decide whether they want to go aggressive? That stone is going to make its way into the rings. That means it is not protected by free guard zone. Therefore, Slovakia can remove it if they want. That would be the conservative approach. Or they could throw up a guard, make use of free guard zone themselves. That would be the aggressive approach. It looks like Radoslav Duric indicating he wants to remove that blue, the conservative tactic. And that's understandable. Still pretty early. We're only in the fourth end. We're just approaching halfway. Scores are tied. Neither team needs to be too aggressive here. Monika Kunkelova aiming for that blue. She is going to connect, but not quite enough, so that blue remains in play. But, oh, look at that little stone spinning its way back into the rings there. So that's not a bad result. She does have a yellow in play. Conservative approach there again now from Korea. It's Korea whose objective is now to prevent Slovakia building up points. And Slovakia's objective now, well, let's see. It looked like they were starting off defensively, playing the conservative tactic. Maybe saying to themselves, yeah, we'll just play conservative for a couple of ends. And then maybe go aggressive more towards end 6, 7 and 8. That's a perfectly sensible approach to the game. And indeed, that does seem to be what they're thinking at the moment. Just wanting to keep things tidy, keep things clear. In Korea, for sure, the most sensible approach is to be conservative and defensive at the moment. No need to take risks with being too aggressive in the fourth end. They do remove that Slovakian counter, and now we are back to just one stone in play. And now could be a good time to go and get a cup of tea, viewer. Looks like both teams are fairly committed to being defensive in this fourth end. Indeed, Monika Kunkelova throwing another high weight. And just leaning over as well. to see exactly what's going on the ice underneath us. I'm right above sheet 3, and that's a great throw from Monica. I tell you, even when you're using leg drive to drive out of the hack, it's always a bit intimidating when the stones are really wide towards the edge of the sheet. And when you're using only upper body strength for the wheelchair players. And it's a slightly different angle, so they're starting a little bit further in the delivery end. It is intimidating when you've got stones towards the edge of the sheet, but the two teams in our final making it look straightforward. This is a closed final. That means we are simply playing for a win or a loss. One team has to win. So if we need an extra end, then for this game and the third, fourth playoff next door, we will be playing an extra end. But we have a long way to go before then. We're only just in the fourth end, approaching halfway. And I'm not surprised that both teams have settled into a defensive end here. Both of these teams have been very strong all weekend. As we said, they're very closely ranked in the world rankings. They finished right next to each other in the most recent World Championship. So a hit and roll out gives Peter Zatko a bit of target practice. And that's always good, even in a hitting end. Always good to just make sure you've still got that draw weight when you need it. So they're the Korean stone connecting, but rolling out themselves. And is that stone going to hang on? Oh, I think so. Even if just a little tiny piece of stone is touching the circles, that's enough. That would count as a point. And apparently, a little tiny piece of that stone is touching the circle. And that's why we see Korean skip Lee Hyong-chul immediately indicating to remove it. Ooh, and under the Slovakian flag, you could see that little yellow scooting out of play. And if that blue is touching the sideline, it looks like it is from here, then that also goes out of play. Some more draw weight practice then for Peter Zatko. This suits Slovakia fine. I wonder which team will be the first to try to force the issue, to try to play aggressive. Scores are level, it's 2 each. We are just at the halfway. This is a finely balanced game out there. Similar idea then from Peter Zatko. I think this one has curled even closer to the edge. And I think that's in. Yep, Korea thinks so as well. As we said, as long as any part of the stone is touching the rings, that's enough. And there is another measuring device actually. If you can't decide if a stone is touching the rings or not, it's called the 6-foot measure. Curling predating the metric system by many hundreds of years. And it's a simple metal arm with a point in the middle, and you simply put it in the middle, and if the metal arm touches the stone, your stone is in. And if the 6-foot metal arm does not touch your stone, then it's out. But you can only use that at the end of an conclusion of an end, or if you're not sure if a stone is in free guard zone or not. You can't bring it out in the middle of an end. You have to make your own decision. So the yellow definitely not in play anymore. And the blue definitely not in the house anymore. So does Slovakia, at this very late stage in the end, we're down to skip stones. Does Slovakia say, oh look, we've suddenly got a guard up there. Why don't we try to hide in behind it? They certainly have a chance here. Why not? In a worst case, then they should still be able to just clear up and blank this end. Radoslav Duric then. This line is beautiful. Peter Zatko just tapping his brush, and oh, that's a shame. The line was lovely, but just had a little too much gas, and that stone not stopping in the house, and that means Korea now have a chance to get a stone in behind. They will not expect it to score. Yeah, Korea not really expecting to get any points this end, but they just want to try to put pressure on Slovakia, and a blue stone behind a guard or a blue stone in play. That's something that Slovakia have to do something about. So even a stone all the way out here, that's still a stone that Slovakia have to remove or out count. Just touching the edge of that guard. Well, that's a nice throw from Lee Hyung-chul. As we said, not really expecting to score 1 point here, 1 blue point, Korea. But you never know. What they're trying to do is put pressure on Slovakia. Ooh, and is it going to be enough? Has that guard done a job? It has. Well, now. I think that's about the first stone he's missed, Radoslav Duric, but that little guard that popped up right towards the back end of this fourth end, that does end up being a point for Korea, and there you are. That's why it's always worth leaving a stone in play, even a stone towards the edge of the rings like that. Oh no, my mistake. Slovakia, it looks like they got a bit lucky there, so it did redirect from the guard, and I think it spun itself to shot position after all. But yeah, you can see the point there that Korea left a stone lying around to be a nuisance, and it very nearly paid off for them. So yeah, Korea in good spirits. Slovakia maybe riding their luck a little bit. The Slovakian coach Milan Bubanik has come down to offer advice and reassurance. Not an official halftime exactly, but I think this could be is that the Korean coach at the back behind the rink there? Or it actually looks like Korea are making a substitution. That's fine as well. They do have a 5-person team. And it looks like Nam Bong Kwang is coming off the ice and Yang Hu Tae is coming on to play the second half of this game. Not a problem that Slovakia have. It's just the 4 of them that are here. They would love to have a spare player who could come and help them out here. The score confirmed there. That was a bit of a lucky one, yellow there, wasn't it? It didn't really find its target, the stone from Radoslav Duric, but getting away with it. Scoring 1 yellow. That means Slovakia will be following their same objective that they've had for much of this game, and that's just preventing Korea from scoring big. And what does that mean? Well, when you have 1 last stone, then you can typically score 1 point with your 1 last stone. And if you want to win the game, you typically need to do more than that. If you only score 1 with last stone and then your opposition scores 1 when they have last stone, then after 8 ends, you will end up with a score of 4 each, and that's not enough. You will need to do something in addition. But if you want to score more than 1, you need mistakes from your opposition. If your opposition play 8 out of 8 perfect shots, you cannot score more than 1 point. And that's why we will see teams putting some guards out front. Make use of free guard zone. The guards can't be removed until 5 stones are played. And that's how you try to get a mistake from your opposition, is make their stones difficult. Put some guards out front. Make it hard for them to keep things clear. And that was a lovely throw from Yoon Hee-kyung, the Korean lead. But it has curled all the way round the other side of the guard, and that means Monika Kunkelova can see it on the anti-clockwise handle now. She didn't put a lot of handle on that stone. You can see it kind of drifting to our left here. Not rotating very much. So that was about the weight she was looking for. She just wanted to bump that blue stone and maybe roll in behind her own guard. But she didn't put too much curl on the stone, and that meant it started to drift a little bit on its own. If you throw a stone without turning it clockwise or anti-clockwise, it will just pick up a little path in the ice and decide its own little path. Yoon Hee-kyung, she had a lovely weight with her first throw and being asked for something similar, I think. Also on the anti-clockwise handle, Lee Haeyoung-chol just urging the stone to keep curling, keep curling. That's a lovely start though from Yoon Hee-kyung. It's Korea with last stone. And you don't always see the team with last stone playing immediately towards the centre, but it can work. And because that stone from the previous stone from Monika Kunkelova just drifting off, didn't really have a nice active handle. That gave Korea a chance to get two right in the forefoot, real near the centre. And they are set up pretty nicely. It's Korea who have last stone in this fifth end. But that's a peachy shot from Monika Kunkelova. You might say, well, what's so good about that? There's still two blues right in front. And you were right, viewer, but important, and what makes that a peachy shot is because that yellow is not going anywhere. It has two blues right behind it. It is super safe in there. And that is a yellow that Slovakia can use in a future stone. Just punch that yellow back and get those blues moving behind it. Now, I don't think you would see too many of the men's or ladies' teams throwing a guard. I'm not sure if Korea meant to throw a guard or whether they really wanted to throw a blue stone on top of that yellow now. We have seen the danger of putting centre guards into play when you have last stone. If your opposition can ever find a way to the centre, then you are in all kinds of trouble. Slovakia keen to use that nice yellow. That's looking very tempting in the front of the rings there. And Peter Jatko clearing the path for that. Let's see how all the other games are getting on. On sheet one, it's the home team from Curling Club Betsikon. They are 5-3 ahead at the halfway over Team England. On sheet two, it is our team from the US, Team Wagami. They are playing first Swiss team, but that's the only scoreboard I can't see. So we'll need to get back with that. Next door, it's the third-fourth playoff. And we do need a winner there as well. And it was St. Gallen who jumped out the blocks with a really bright start. But the other team from Italy, Team Albatross Trentino, they have put an important score of 2 on the board. And after 4 ends, it is 4-2. St. Gallen leading over Albatross Trentino. On sheet 5, we have the second Swiss team. They are playing Scotland. And it looks like they are just at the halfway. They haven't put their fourth end score up yet, but after 3 ends, it was Switzerland 3, Scotland 1. And finally, on sheet 6, we have Team Italy. They are taking on Poland. Poland really close to qualifying for the top group in the World Championship last time. They finished just 1 place behind the qualifying spot. So they are really making big strides, Team Poland, in wheelchair curling. But a bit of work to do in that game. It is 4-0 to Team Italy. Now in our game here, we have seen how safe that yellow was from a few stones ago. Yellow onto blue, onto yellow, onto blue, everything moving. And that yellow, as we said, it was very safe in there. We could use that yellow to punch onto blue And that yellow is still there. Yeah, let's see that again. Ready? Yellow. Onto blue, onto yellow, onto blue, blue. One blue goes. And look, that yellow has managed to find itself another safe place. It's still one blue shot lying, but right in front of it is a real nice safe yellow. And Slovakia are really minimising the scoring area for Korea. And that is why, viewer, Korea did not really want any stones short in this end, because now they have kind of boxed themselves in a little bit. You can see that situation, and oh dear, that is not going to help. That blue is pretty safe where it is, very close to centre, but look at that yellow, that's the one causing the trouble. And Slovakia did that on purpose. They don't mind giving 1 point to Korea. That would simply level the score, and again, Slovakia would have last stone back again. One blue, that's fine for Slovakia, and that's always a good tip. And I know I say it a lot, but it bears repeating. You don't have to win every end in curling. You simply need to win this game. And both these teams very experienced. And that's what we're seeing. Slovakia doesn't have to win this end. 1 point to Korea, one blue. That's fine. A score of -1 is perfectly fine for Slovakia at the moment. That can be a mistake for less experienced players, panicking a little bit and trying to do something to remove that blue or get a shot better. No, you don't have to. This is exactly right from Slovakia. Just do as much as they can to restrict that scoring area for Korea. Make sure Korea don't have a good chance to score 2. And they will have met objective for this end. If you were Korea, how are you getting a second point? Slovakia working very hard to limit your options. Welcome to the game, Cha Jin-ho. Coming on at half-time to substitute for Nam Bongkwang. But goodness me, being faced with a real tricky one with his first couple of throws. I think you need to clear a space here, Korea. Much discussion from Team Korea. I don't think, no, they haven't used their coach interaction yet in this game. I think the idea is clear. We need to try to get a second point here, but it's just how do we do it? Well, make this good, Cha Jing-ho. You will not have a second chance, I don't think. I think maybe the better idea was to use a couple of stones for Korea to just try to clear some space, actually. But what do I know? That's a super throw from Cha Jin-ho. He doesn't quite find the 4-foot, but you can see what a nice shot that is. Not very far from where that blue stone has come to rest. If you just nudge it, 15, 20 centimetres, you should be able to get a second shot. But this was the issue. If you don't get that shot perfect this time, you do give Slovakia now the chance to block that path. Slovakian skip Radoslav Duriš looking nice and confident. That's another tactic 101 that we always say is the skip or fourth thrower, they should only ever need to throw guards. Everyone else should be doing such a good job that your fourth thrower, all they need to do is throw a nice guard, block that path. And his weight is nice, Duriš, but it didn't curl. He didn't find the right line there. So a second chance for Korea to use that path. You can see the club's pretty busy upstairs. Lots of people passing by to support on a nice sunny Sunday afternoon. We have very nice food up here in the club as well. We had a nice brunch between the first game and this. It's always a nice cosy event here at the club. So Korea aiming for pretty much the same stone that they were trying for the last time. They just want to now just nudge that blue stone. Played by, it was Yang Hute, sorry. So that stone definitely at nudging sort of a speed. Is he going to catch the edge though? Ooh, no, he's not. And I'm not sure he will get to try that one again. I'm sure we will see Radoslav Duriš just correct the line a little bit from his first stone. His weight was perfect. Slovakia's last throw of this fifth end. He wants exactly that weight and just make a little correction with the line. Ooh, that's coming in hot though. That is not it, so lucky you, Korea. You do have one final chance to just catch the edge of that blue stone that's been waiting patiently. It's still not an easy throw though for Lee Haeyoung-chul. The Korean skip then. He also had a look at this shot with his first stone. And he hopefully will also have just made a correction on the line. Is it round the guard? It is round the guard. Is it going to stop? Oh, that's a real pity for Korea. That was a really difficult shot. A brave try from Korean skip Lee Hyung-chul. But finally, we said that that was a lovely throw to land in front of those two blues right at the beginning of this end. And wasn't it just that little yellow was still doing its job at the conclusion of the end and meant that Korea could not find a way to get a second point. That means it's a score of 1 blue to Korea. Thank you, yellow volunteer. That levels the scores then. In our 1-2 playoff, it is the defending champion Slovakia against top of the table Korea. Scores are level, 3-all. So we are getting to the business end of our final here, the 1-2 playoff. Korea have been top of the table all weekend. Not unbeaten. Scotland pushed them all the way to a draw. And Slovakia, as you can see, just playing with 3 players today. Their normal second thrower, Dusan Pichonak, travelling all this way and then not feeling too good. He's resting up. But what a battle we are having out there. Scores are tied. We are in the 6th end. And now our objectives and shot execution become absolutely critical. What are your objectives going to be, viewer? If you are Korea or Slovakia, what's your objective here? Well, let's have a think. So it's maybe easier to start with Slovakia. So let's think, if Slovakia scores something this end, even just 1 point, that means it would be last shot advantage with Korea in the 7th end. And if they can just limit Korea to 1 point again, like we saw in that 5th end, which they did beautifully, then it would be similar situation. It would be scores tied, but Slovakia with last stone. So that sounds like quite a good path to the end of this game. We have 3 ends, including this one, until the 8th end. So that means 3 opportunities for last stone. And Slovakia may be saying to themselves, okay, let's try to use last stone here. Get Korea to just score 1 point in the 7th end. Then we'll have last stone for the 8th end. Advantage Slovakia. So that's what Slovakia will be thinking. Therefore, Korea, they will be thinking exactly the opposite. They will want to limit Slovakia here. And what could be a good path for Korea through in 6, 7 and 8? Well, if they play a Uno reverse card and if they force Slovakia rather to only score 1 point, make it impossible for Slovakia to score 2, then they would have last stone in the 7th end. And they would potentially be in control of the tactics there. And it looks like that could be what they're trying to do here. 2 really nice throws to start the end from Yoon Hee-kyung. With that guard then, Korea asking the question now of Slovakia, saying, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to remove the guards and play more defensively? Or are you going to use those guards and still try to score 2? We know our objectives then. Who is going to execute better? Our two finalists, they could not be closer matched. They finished right next to each other at the most recent World Wheelchair Curling Championship, finishing 5 and 6. In our 3-4 playoff, that's on the sheet next door on the right of your screen. You can see this is more like it from the Italian team. It was the Swiss team from St. Gallen Club. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead, but good recovery from Albatross Trentino Club from Italy. They've pulled 3 points back. They're also in their 6th end, and it's the Swiss leading now 4-3. Well, viewer, we are committed to an aggressive end here. Korea really throwing down the gauntlet. And really trying to force the issue with Slovakia. Let's remember our objectives. Slovakia probably aiming to score something with this 6th end hammer. They'll now be counting out the ends to the conclusion of the game. And Korea too, they will be plotting their path to the end of the game. So they would love to just force Slovakia to score only 1 point here and grab last stone back. Whereas Slovakia, they have a couple of wannabe corner guards. They would rather have them a little bit further over. But that's fine from Monika Konkelova. That's a nice result. You can see those guards on the right side of our screen. You'd rather they were a little bit further right, but they're okay there. And she's rolled away herself to put a guard on the other side, and now both of those blues are open to move around. So good shot from Monika. We have a close game happening on most of the sheets. Over on sheet 1, it was a score of 1 to Team England in their 4th end, and at their halfway, it's the home team from Vetikon 5, Team England 4. I can't see how the score is for the US team, Team Wagami. They are playing the first Swiss team. On sheet 5, it's second Swiss team. They are playing Team Scotland, and it's the Swiss who are staying on top of this. They are 5-1 ahead of Scotland at the halfway over there. And over on sheet 6, it looks like it's becoming a game too far for Team Poland. They are 7-0 down now at the halfway to Team Italy, whom we watched this morning. They had a very nice game. And that's a bit of a half shot from Korea. Here in our featured game, what they've done is kind of stacked a big target for Peter Jatko. And he is a strong thrower. So this stone coming in at pace, just getting the front one, but that's fine. Step by step. Just catching off that front one, but importantly, the centre of the sheet is now open again. Jinho putting a third counter in there, but he's kind of done the same again. I think both of those stones, he would rather they were a little bit shorter. He's just kind of setting up a big target here for Slovakia. So another big throw from Peter Jatko. Trying to move some blue stones out of play. He's certainly done that. And that's found a nice spot, that yellow. Important is that they have finally managed to move play away from the centre. Remember, if you're Korea, you don't have last stone. You would rather just keep blue stones all over the centre. But that's a nice throw from Peter. And finally, Korea have to do something about a stone on the edge of the sheet rather than in the middle. That suits Slovakia very nicely. Can Jingho, can he find the line? Oh no. There we see. What a nice throw that was from Peter Jatko. Tempting the mistake from Korea, and they've got it. And he will have a third stone, Peter Jatko. The Slovakians down to 3 players today. And he will have a third throw at that cluster of blues in the centre. Something similar would be very nice for Slovakia. So big opportunity here for Peter Jatko. A third big weight coming. And that's fine. We saw that in the previous end. That a yellow right in front of that blue. It's nice and safe is the point. It's not lying shot just yet, but there is no removing that yellow without losing your own blue. And that is why that's such a nice shot. We have lots of special guests at the club today. Lots of people come to join and watch the fun. And we will be back, I'm sure, at the same time next year. I think the organising committee, I think Chief Harry gives them maybe a week off. And then they have to start organising already next year. So this committee meeting from Korea, that shows you, again, what a nice shot that was from Slovakia. You don't need to be lying shot. You don't need to be lying perfectly after every stone. What you're trying to do is set yourself up chances. You have 7 chances to set up a final stone with your 8th, and that's really what Slovakia are doing. As we said, there is no removing that yellow in that front ring without losing your own blue. So Korea has to be a bit careful here. That's the situation. I think their best idea is probably, nevertheless, to play on that blue. If they don't, Slovakia are taking that blue with their next stone all day. So yeah, best idea is to do something about that blue. Maybe just play a gentle weight onto the yellow. Just punch the blue back a little bit. After much discussion then, first throw in the 6th end for Lee Hyung-chul. His weight looks lovely, but has he hit the target? Is he going to catch his own blue stone? Yes, he is. That's nice. Important is that he now has a second blue stone in the rings. Nevertheless, I think we will now see Slovakia use that nice little yellow that found a beautiful spot right in front of the opposition blue. And if you play yellow onto blue, I think if you're very clever, can you get the pair of them? I think so, but I wouldn't do that just now. This is clever play in the 6th end from Slovakia. Nice stone placement from them. We don't have a time limit in this final round, but we could do with everyone getting on with it a bit. This is the 6th game, though, for all of these teams, so I'm sure there are some tired arms out there. And here it comes, huge weight from the Slovakian skip. And he has cleared the whole centre, which is good news. He does leave that blue still in play. That's not quite what he wanted, but he's putting pressure on Korea to come up with a good shot here, though. What do you do if you're Korea? Scores are level. You have one little blue hanging on there in the 8-foot. Yeah, you can guard it, or the other idea would be to play the anti-clockwise handle and put a second stone in play there. Everything moving on the replay. Important shot here for Korea. If he gets this wrong, they could be looking at quite a big score. He either wants to guard that blue or maybe just nudge up against his blue. That's a good shot as well. It looks like they are ignoring the right-hand side of our sheet on the, that would be the clockwise handle. And they may be just feeling a bit more confident that kind of anywhere on the right line is good for this shot. Or nudging up against their own blue, that's fine as well. That's a super shot. That really is good, actually. He's got a superb angle there. What he has done is really cancelled out both of those yellows in that one shot. Pretty difficult to lift the double takeout here. That's the view from the throwing end. You can see that we call that a sort of a Christmas tree angle, which doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. But what we do is you're imagining those two blues and the yellow on the branches of a Christmas tree, sort of triangular shaped. And that angle is impossible for a double takeout, and that's why it's so good. Korea could have been in trouble in this end then. But 8 nice steady stones, and I don't see an opportunity for 2 here for Slovakia. The line looks lovely with this. And it's just going to put its brakes on. Yes, it is. Ooh. Did he manage to move that blue just enough? That will be some shot if he did. That angle's so difficult. So certainly one yellow towards the back. Will we see another measure? Yes, we will. Waving your hand in a circle, the universal signal for can we have a measure, please? Gosh, our volunteer very busy with his measuring in our 1-2 playoff today. Is he measuring all 3? No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe so. That yellow is surely not in contention. And actually, yeah, neither the one at the back. They're just moving that. So it's definitely one yellow. And a second measure of our 1-2 playoff to see if it's a measure for 2. Last time, it ended up being just 1 point, not 2. I'm not even sure he was trying to play that shot. Vladislav Durish, that is so difficult to call that shot and make it, to just touch the edge of the first blue and redirect yourself onto the second one. That is so difficult. Doing well then to get at least 1 point. And this could have a big impact at this stage in the game in the 6th end. A difference of 1 or 2. It is yellow. You can see him pointing to the yellow stone, and we could just about see a little gap there between the pin and the blue stone. It is 2 points to yellow, and I think that could make a big difference now at this 6th end. So after 6 ends then in our 1-2 playoff, it is Slovakia 5, Korea 3. Well now, Korea were awfully close to meeting objectives for that sixth end. They just wanted to limit Slovakia to 1. And I will need to ask Slovakia. I'm not sure they even meant to play such a clever shot with their final throw. I think they had also resigned themselves that they were really only getting 1 point there. But goodness me, a real fancy shot from Radoslav Duric, just catching the edge of the first blue, popping out the second blue, pushing that blue just enough to get 2 points instead of 1. Well then, the path to the end of the game is looking quite nice for Slovakia after that sixth end. It's Korea with last stone in the seventh end. And if you were Slovakia, you would love to just replay the fifth end. So remember, a couple of ends ago, Slovakia early on just put a yellow stone just in front of 2 blue stones. And that yellow stone was still in front of the final blue stone. And there was no way for Korea to score more than 1. That is exactly what Slovakia will be aiming for again. And even a score of 2 points to Korea here, not the end of the world. That would mean scores are level. That would be 5 each going into last end, but it would be Slovakia with last stone. Hard to overstate how important that score of 2 was instead of 1 in that sixth end. Over on sheet 1, England have levelled the scores in their game against the home team from Vetsikon. It's 5 each. Team Switzerland, second team from Switzerland, continue to put pressure on Scotland. Scotland, they've not had a terrible weekend, but they've not quite got the results to show it. They've had more than their fair share of tough games, I would say. But it is still the second Swiss team. They lead 6-1 over Scotland. And good news for Poland. They have steadied the ship with a score of 2 in the fifth end, but it is still Team Italy leading Team Poland 7 points to 2. Korea's path to winning this game suddenly a lot more difficult after that measure. What an important measure that may turn out to be. As we said, even a 2 here for Korea is not the end of the world for Slovakia. That would square the scores. That would even up the scores. And I don't see a blank coming here from Korea. I don't think that would be the right decision. Kind of hoping or betting on themselves to get 2 or more in the eighth end. I don't think that would be the right decision either. I think Korea have to just put the foot down here, really work hard to try and score 2 and take their chance with stealing the eighth end. And that's a really nice throw from Yoon Hee-kyung. Again, she doesn't really need to remove that yellow, actually. Important is that her blue is lying around and her blue is away from the centre. If Korea are going to score more than 1, important is that they keep Slovakia away from the centre. Slovakia just wants to put stones all over the centre of the ice, make it hard for Korea to score. So that's a really nice throw from Yoon Hee-kyung. She's had a really steady game today. And that is exactly what Slovakia are doing. Goodness me, 1, 2, 3. Fantastic shots from Monika Kunkelova. The only loss Slovakia had was during the rounds, and that's when Korea and Slovakia met each other on the way to this final. And looks like Slovakia in the mood for revenge this afternoon. And that was a bold call from Slovakia to stay with the aggressive stones there. They could also have said, let's just remove that blue stone of Korea on the wings. But goodness me, they are really forcing the issue here. And after 3 just about perfect shots from Monika Kunkelova, Slovakia are lying 2 yellow with a nice centre guard. And the Korean skip realising, yep, looking like he's got a bit of a headache. That doesn't help them. And now the big strength of Peter Jatko start to hoover up. Monika Kunkelova placing 3 lovely stones to set up this 7th end, and Peter Jatko being asked to now clean up. And he's only just stuck it straight on the nose as well. And oh dear, if you're Korea, this is not looking nice. There's an 8 on at the moment. We nearly had an 8 right at the beginning of the competition. Team Italy, it was a tricky one. Here we are here in commentary corner. We've had the pleasure of watching, I think, most of our international teams. I don't think we managed to watch the other Italian team, Albatros Trentino, who are in the 3-4 playoff. But yeah, we've watched an awful lot of good curling this weekend. Our stream partners, Media Rent, they're back again this year, and they've set up all the active cam, all the live stream commentary cam, and we've been chatting to some of the teams over in Media Corner as well. Those interviews on the Instagram for the tournament, IWCT_CH. Oh dear. And that shot kind of typifying Korea's afternoon, unfortunately. Just over curling a centimetre. Yeah, Radoslav Durish having a nonchalant shrug of his shoulders. He's like, gosh, we're in such a good position. I hardly know what to do. I think that's exactly right. Yep, just stick to the middle. Punch that one forward a bit. Still important to make a good decision. Things can change quickly. That was the previous stone from Slovakia, from Peter Jatko. Absolutely perfect. So important they make good decisions here. This is going to sound like a luxury problem, but with so many yellows in play, actually, it can sort of help Korea in some way, because that's stones they can roll up against that they can maybe hide behind. So luxury problems, definitely. But still important for Slovakia to make good decisions here, even though they are looking mighty handy in this seventh end. And that's a great adjustment from Peter Jatko, going from a big throw with his previous stone to a real delicate throw there. Anywhere ahead of tee line or just in front of house serves them very nicely, Slovakia. I wondered if that blue could get pushed in behind a bit of cover. I'm not quite sure what the call is here. The other idea it looks like they were thinking of is to use those two yellows next to Lee Hyong-chul's brush. And play a heavier weight and try and roll to the left towards the centre from that shot. Let's see. Yeah, I thought the angle wasn't kind for punching that blue forward. That little yellow just played by Peter Jatko was kind of blocking its path, although that blue is now still there. Gosh, if you're feeling really fancy, you could just push that blue straight through the gap and out of play and leave no blues at all in play. But I think, yeah, just keep piling yellows towards the centre. This has been working for Slovakia. Very familiar with this line. There are the two yellows there close to that centre line available for pushing forward. And just exactly the same weight again for Peter Jatko, and that is really nice. Really important, as we said, is that these stones are ahead of tee line. Anything behind tee line, that would help Korea. That would give them a bit of a target. But anything ahead of tee line, yeah, Radoslav Duric with an unbelieving smile there. I think he can't quite believe how well this seventh end is going for them. And Korea need to find their best stones here in this seventh end if they are not to have a mountain to climb in the eighth. Cha Jin-ho then being asked for something similar. Not a huge weight here. He really needs this blue to hang around as well. And he just wants to... Oh, it does neither one nor the other. It doesn't punch up the blue helpfully, and it doesn't use those two yellows to get a hit and roll. That kind of summing up their afternoon at the moment. Remarkably, viewer, there are 6 Slovakian stones in play. I think that really would be a first if we have 2 opportunities for 8 stones in one competition. Surely not. Now, no matter how tempting it is to get all 8 stones in play and cross your fingers, say a prayer to the curling gods, we need to be sensible. The objective has not changed. Objective is, do not let Korea score big. So that's a nice idea. Slovakia realising that that's Korea's best chance is to use those 2 yellows on the right of our screen as we look here. Use those 2 yellows to hit and roll towards the centre. That's probably Korea's best chance. And Radislav Duric just running a little bit high with his first stone. It had a little bit too much gas in it. He would have preferred it to just stop again ahead of T-line, even in front of the rings was fine. But with that stone just running on a little bit, definitely there's a chance for Korea to try that stone again. Just aim for those yellows. I don't think we'll see a big weight here. It's not really about removing these yellows, it's about using the yellows to get a hit and roll towards the centre for blue. And in fact, we have one result already, viewers. Over on sheet 6. Team Italy, they really got the better of Team Poland today, and that game closing up early. It's a final score of Italy 9, Poland 2. So a strong finish for the Italian team. They had a little bit of a slow start to their competition. We saw them have a nice win this morning, and they'll be delighted that they've finished with a strong win this afternoon. We have to feel a bit sorry for Korea here. There is no nice shot, but I do think that's the only shot they have, is to still use those 2 yellows on the right of the screen, just between the 2 players there. That yellow just to the left of the players. It is behind T, so I do think you can roll in front of it. Now, don't take too long, or I always think you kind of lose your rhythm a bit. I think make a decision and go and play it. I think few people benefit from too much chitter-chatter. Okay, decision is made. Really need to get a nice result here to save the game. He does have one more stone coming though, 3 stones to come, including this one. The Koreans needing something a little bit special from their skip here. This looks better, but not quite curling enough now. That is the situation. Well, the good news for Korea is there's no more chance to get 8. I think Peter Jadko is quite right. I think a a similar stone from Slovakia now. Not a big weight, really just backline hack sort of weight. It's not so important to remove that blue. What is important is to kind of block that path. So a little hit and roll towards centre using that blue. I think that is exactly the right call here. And then Team Slovakia can really pat themselves on the back for their 7th end. Korea has had no chance to score here. Final throw then of an absurdly successful 7th end for Slovakia. As we thought, not too big this weight. It's not really important to remove that blue. They just want to set up a blockage. Oh my goodness, which they have. Wowzers. I'm not sure I've ever looked at such a difficult situation for blue. Yeah, look at that. I think they can't quite believe it. I think Slovakia are lying 6 by the look of it. Crikey. They got to 6 this morning, Slovakia. In a similar situation, actually, there was a very close game with Scotland. And I think it was in the 7th end or the 6th end, 6 or 7. And it was the same kind of thing. They were simply trying to prevent Scotland from scoring, and Scotland were having to play the aggressive stones, but not quite coming off for Scotland. And Slovakia picked up a 6 this morning, and they are currently lying 6 again. Phew, for the sake of good curling, let's all wish Lee Hayoung-chul good stone here. Otherwise, I'm not even sure we will need to play the 8th end. So deep breath, sir. Final stone of the 7th end. Absolutely critical here. This will either be a point to Korea or it could be a game over. Oh, that is a brave attempt. And Lee putting his arms in the air, realising how close it was, but that is going to be a huge score of 5 for Slovakia. And since this is a simple 1-2, yeah, look how close it is. A really brave attempt from Lee there. But that will be a huge score of 5 to Slovakia. And at 10 points to 3, yeah, there is no need to play an 8th end. It's a simple win or lose. And our champions from last year, Slovakia, they are now back-to-back champions with just the 3 of them. Remarkable performance from them. I think Korea will be a bit disappointed. They've really played super all weekend, but as we said, yeah, the only loss for Slovakia coming earlier on was against that Korean team, and they learned all their lessons from that. Well, let's say a big congratulations to our vice champions all the way from Korea. And all 5 folks in the team ended up playing. We started out with Yoon Hee-kyung, Cha Jin-ho, Nam Bong-kwang, and Lee Hayoung-chul. And substituting on at halftime was Yang Hu-tae. So congratulations to our vice champions, but what a performance from our double back-to-back champions. It is Slovakia. And let's congratulate all 4 of them at lead and for me, MVP today, she hardly put a stone wrong. It's Monika Kunkelova. Huge part in setting up that win for Slovakia. Second thrower, and we wish him well. Hope he feels better soon, is Dusan Petronak. Third thrower, Peter Žatko. Fourth and skip is Radislav Duriš. Well, can they make it 3 in a row next year? That was the score before, that huge score of 5. But we don't even need to play an 8th end. The score in our 1-2 final. Slovakia successfully defend the championship they won here last year against Canada. This year they have beaten Korea. They are our double champions. It's Team Slovakia over Team Korea, 10 points to 5. So 3 even, sorry. So the rest of the games still going on. You can catch up with the final scores on those on the tournament website. That is IWCT.ch. You can catch up with all the fun stuff on the Instagram channel. That's IWCT_CH. We have some interviews with the teams and some fun stuff on there. Some nice photos for you from the event. But what a weekend of curling we've had. A very worthy final. Congratulations to both of our teams. We will be back next year for the 17th wheelchair curling tournament. We will start planning it right away so that we have another weekend of great fun and curling for you all. But meanwhile, thank you to all 12 teams for supporting our competition. Thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting and making it such an attractive and good competition for the teams. Thank you to Media Rent for our awesome live streaming again this year. Thank you to Chief Harry and his hard-working committee, all of our yellow volunteers. Thank you to you, viewers, for joining us this weekend. See you next year. Bye-bye.